Hello class, my name is Miss Leslie and today we're going to do an easy profile. And this profile is going to use 8x8 measurements. So it's really fast and really easy. Okay, let's get started. First off, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a circle to get started, and it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. And then I'm going to divide it into quarters. And then I'm going to make marks on it at the, like that's the halfway line. And then I'm going to draw the quarter. And then I'm going to put dots at the 8th marks. Because we're going to work with 8s today. Well, we'll just do light lines right here. And we're gonna go ahead and square off the circle. And then let's get started. Okay, so we're going to carve away at the squares and the circles. And we're going to make a man or a boy. So first of all, this halfway line right here is where the eye goes. So what we're going to do is about halfway in between the quarter mark and the full mark here, we're going to curve in, and that's going to be where the eye is. And then we're going to draw our eye, and the upper lid almost goes straight, but it's a little bit curved. And then it comes down like almost like a triangular shape. And then the iris. And then we've got this lens here, so the pupil is set back a little bit further, like that. And we've got our lid, and we've got a little bit of the lower eyelid. We can just put some lashes on that, so it looks a little more defined. And then we've got our brow here, and this is where our eyebrow goes, and most of the brow is going to fit in this quarter mark. It's going to extend out a little bit longer. If you were to do an angle right here with the eye, that's about where the eyebrow would go. And then we want to do some hairs that aren't all even and do some different lengths. Maybe start a little bit higher in the brow and then go some lower in the brow, so we get some different shapes in that eyebrow. And then this quarter mark up here is going to be where the hairline meets the forehead. So I'm going to take this up, like right there. And then for the nose, what it does is, this is the chin line right here. And this line right here is the lip line. And the nose is going to sit a little bit higher than this line right here. We've got this line right here that's a bridge. I'm going to change this line. It's kind of went down a little bit low. I'm going to lift that up a little bit. So, and this is just general. So however much we curved in this way, that's how much we want to go out on the nose. And then for the lip line, we, this line right here, I'm gonna go ahead and do this lower lip first. So it kind of curves up, and this is pretty flat, but it's, this is kind of like a curve that goes like maybe like the top of the O, and then this is like the bottom of the O, and then this is like almost like a raindrop shape. And then the upper lip, it comes out from this line right here, and it is, I would say it's kind of like a heart, but this raindrop is pointed on the end, and this upper lip, it's a little rounded on the end. And then from this nose line right here, we're going to do like kind of an inverted curve like that. And then however much you have on the nose sticking out, that's how much you want going back. And the nostril is going to sit halfway in between. So we can do this line and then draw our nostril like that. Now the chin comes down to here, but you notice like it's all like comes back like this. And it's almost like if you were to draw, you know, almost like this rectangle shape down here, then that would be your line for your lip and your chin. And then this is of course connected to the lip, but it goes in and then down. And so now we've got a good profile, but we want to do the ear and the sideburns and the temple. So right here, this line right here is the middle, and this is where his sideburn comes in. The ear is going to sit back slightly more than halfway. So this is the halfway mark, and this is one of the 8th marks. So we're going to go back here. But remember, like eyeglasses, they kind of sit there, but the ear goes up a little bit higher. So it goes up to about where the brow is. So we're going to do this, and it's like about a D shape, like that. And it, like depending on your ear, it can hit pretty close to where the bottom of the nose is. So we've got this kind of, you know, a D shape. And now we're going to do like a snail shape like that. And that's going to end about halfway at the bottom of the ear. And then we're going to do like an E shape. And this line connects up with a line right here, but more just in shadow. And then you can darken where the dark spots are and shade the lines into a shadow. This line right here is a little more pointed and it comes down there. This is actually where your ear goes in. So it's going to be very dark. And then the rest of it will be a little bit lighter. And you can shade on the other end of the ear too. And that's going to make it look better. And there you got a really simple, easy ear. Now, the back of the head right here comes in at about where the mouth is. So we're going to go at this 8th mark right here. If you were to bring this mark down here, I'm going to bring it up to the full 8. And I'm going to give this head some shape, but just remember, we're going to give this head some hair. So it is going to go up higher. Then the neck, it slants back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have some fun doing the hair. And I'll let you be the hairstylist. You can do your hair however you want, but there are some few simple guidelines to go on. We've got this 8th line right here and this 8th line right here, and we're going to use that. We've got our sideburn right here, and it's going to connect up to the ear, and then it's going to connect up from the back of the ear to about where the circle is meets, and then the back of the head. And then for this line right here, we've got our eye line right here, but the next line up is this temple line. So we want to line up where the hair goes in at the forehead with this temple line right here and the end of the eyebrow there. So we're gonna do that, and then the hairline is basically going to be like right here, but we're gonna draw in some fun hair. So we'll start back here, and we're just gonna do some sweeping shapes and totally do your own shapes that you would like your guy to have on his head. or copy a fun hairstyle that you like. So I'm just gonna block in some shapes for hair, and like it's gonna be different probably every time you do it. So go ahead and just kind of helps give the head some shape too. And then back here, he's going to have, you know, some little shorter hairs sticking off. And remember, always go bigger than the head, because hair does not stay plastered to our heads. They have lift. So we're gonna extend his head shape out beyond. Now, we don't have to put in the hairs everywhere, but what we do have to do is put them in where it's the darkest and along the edges. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put in some of the hairs, and like wherever it's gonna be darker or in shadow, you can go ahead and put the hairs in there too. And just overlap your strokes so that it's not so obvious where they are. And then for your hair chunks, I really love this. So just generally, I mean, like if you want to look at somebody, totally look at exactly how it's done, but just generally at where the hair comes out of the head, it's going to be darker. So you're going to see some darker areas right where the hair is coming out. And then also along the sides of the of your chunks as well. So we're going to also take some hair along the sides of these chunks so that it's not so obvious. It will be kind of obvious, but. And then on the ends of your hair separates. So we're going to add some separation at the end. So we're gonna make it look like it's more feathery on the end, because it always separates and gets thinner wherever our hair is cut. And then just wherever you want your highlights to be, go ahead and leave those lights, and wherever the hair is going down away from you is going to have some shadow in general. So you can have some fun doing that. And then just start erasing your lines, and then after your lines are erased, then you can add in some other shadows. And I like to look at shadows in shapes. I like to just think of like, what shape is that shadow? Kind of like draw the positive space and then the negative space. So underneath the chin, it's a little bit of a triangle. So I'm just gonna do some loose circles for my shadows. And this is like kind of like almost like a Eiffel Tower type of shape, like with this being the top and then this being the base. And then at the lips, it's always going to be darkest right where they close. And then on the edges, like I drew these in dark, but really they could be a lot lighter. This right here, of course, is going to be very dark. And you can, like, it's kind of fun to just do the very darkest parts of the face, like right here where your mouth opens, right here where the air goes into your nose, right here where there's that eardrum, and then also underneath the eye right here because it's in shadow. And then there's going to be a little bit of a shadow on the other side of the eye, and this will be nice too. This will help brighten up the the iris and the lens. And you can do a little bit of shading on the whites of the eyes so that that brightens up too. And then just kind of do the shadows wherever there's a crease, of course. And then this shadow is going to be a little bit lighter right underneath the eyebrow and a little bit above the eyebrow, but there's usually a little bit of shadow, especially like wherever your hair hits the forehead, there's going to be the shadow from the hair there. And it will be kind of rounded like that. And then there's always like a little bit of not quite a fold, but a little bit of a shadow underneath the eye. And this can even come down to the cheek. And then also like a little bit, if you were to join, like if you were to do like half of a heart and you started right here and this was your eyebrow, and then you brought it down to about right underneath your chin, there's like a shadow line right there. And then this shadow kind of splits and comes down the chin. But this one right here, there's going to be a little bit of a shadow for the cheekbone. And then there's probably a little bit of a cleft right there. And you can darken the edges of your profile as well, especially like where it's going to be like underneath the nose. There's going to be a shadow underneath the lip, and underneath the chin there's going to be some shadow. And maybe I gave him too dark of a shadow underneath his cheekbones. Maybe you decide how you want your profile to be. And this is just general, of course. When you actually look at someone, you could take measurements and do measurements off of their face so that you get their exact measurements. But this is just for general, and I like learning general first because then I have shapes in my mind that are kind of programmed, like, you know, this D shape for the ear, and then this like little snail shell, or the E shape, or this heart type shape. It's like, maybe if you look at the whole lip, it's kind of a lopsided heart, and just that this nostril goes halfway in between where the nose connects to the lip line. And I love also this line right here underneath the nose. It's kind of like an upside down cursive M. I think it's really beautiful. But this will get you started. Maybe I made his nose a little too pointy. I'm gonna round that out. Your eraser is definitely your friend whenever you're drawing people, because it's hard to get it exactly right, but there you go, an 8x8 profile. So, and it's gonna turn out different every time, just depending on how you draw your circle. And if you hand draw in your divisions, then it's going to be slightly different too, but that's okay because we're all different. So just remember the crown of the head, the hair, the forehead. Oh, this looks like a T, but it should be an F. The temple line right here, the eye, the bridge of the nose, the bottom of the nose, the lip, and it's really more the bottom lip, and then your chin. And then this way, you've got the back of your head, you've got where this back of the nape of the neck comes in, the 2/8 mark, you've got the back of your ear. At the 3/8 mark, you've got the front of your ear. The 4/8 mark, you've got your sideburns. The 5/8 mark, you've got, well, kind of in between the where your hair comes in on your temple. 6/8 mark, it really does come in. And at the 7/8 mark, you've got your eye in between this 7/8 and the 6/8. And here you've got, in between these two, you've got where it comes in on your nose, but on the 1/8 of the 8th, you've got the edge of your nose. So have fun with drawing, and I would love to see your profiles. All right, see you next time.